Hey guys, Alexa here, back for some more of The Greatest Attorney. Last time we started the trial, and now we're gonna get the testimony of Shamsphere and the Meter Man. Right, let's go. You will now tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question. One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but the truth be spoken, the truth of that wintry night of my discontent. Witness testimony. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about, my neighbour did cometh in the evening bearing gift of tea. But merry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, naught else. I was outside the bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping my eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed eastern fellow. Still don't know how to voice him. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamsphere's room all night? What a weirdo. Yes, right. Of course, the bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? That's what I was thinking. There's a little gap of bricks where you could see into the room. It was blocked up though. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that. What a weirdo. Question is, why? Freak. Well now, that's because he's on my list. Oh, stealing gas? What a piece of work is the man. Wherefore wast thou not stirred in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed, make no more ado about his tedious words. What are you saying about me? I don't know what you said. Calm yourself. Courtroom is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more. Indeed, that is so. And as the testimony we have heard just clearly reveals, there's no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. Oh yeah, no one did. Oh yeah. Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Now then, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Examination. Wintry night of my discontent. Hold it! To be clear, by neighbor, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, sir. Perchance thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs. And at what time did that mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes. And we were embroiled in such a literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means their discussion about who was stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shamsphere, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbour played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as would our characters be to bring weight upon our merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. Frailty, thy name is one. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the eastern art of jujitsu, but ne'er did I dream thou'st be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up. This is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that accused brought to your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I would do thy bidding. But merry, bitter, as his drink.
Hold it!
Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. The fact that I put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time, is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly. This is an easy task. What? I did drink the tea, not while my guest did Terry, but after he took the leave to me. Faith was stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, fairly with my lips parched.
Objection!
That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sir, after all. That's what we call our fiery debate. Amidst such art, there'd be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again, and who was stronger? Mr. Shamsfair, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege, 'twas the stooped lover of words did attempt to shuffle me of his mortal core. We all know what that means. I barely understand what you're saying.
Hold it!
So, you didn't have any kind of evening meal, dinner, supper? Huh, fie on luxury, fie on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. And money, sorry. I would that my belly were full, no more oft than the sun doth rise. Well, most heroic eating efforts, I must say. This guy, it's gonna be hard to edit that if I make a mistake reading his line. Night and day do I fill my hours with the study of the great bard and playwright. Hence, is it that thou doth not in my chamber be then the costumes of mine art? That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Now that I think of it, it's not just those conspicuously missing from the room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere. For I have devoured them all. You've eaten them? Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise? Right. That wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed through the victim's lips is in the tea. Why were you on?
Hold it!
But the windows of the house would have been filled in. Historical artifact of an artifact window tags. Yeah, you're right there, all bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through that gap. Yes, there was a few bricks loose, weren't there? For some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up the ledge outside as well. I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's businesses, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's my orders, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's beneath in my body. What's with all the theatricals today? Out of interest, Mr. Maidman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. Huh? How can you be so sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poison's container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle. Ah, yes. Lucidly explained, counsel. Thank you. It really was. You can't argue with that logic. You say a short, little, round-backed Eastern fella. So you can't be sure it was the defendant then. Could have been me. How many other short, little, round-backed Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London? Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of it myself. When that person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Chancellor drink tea together? Nah, sorry, I couldn't say. Why not? Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was a silhouette of that little round-backed fellow wearing a pretty dress. And a pair of them started some kind of wrestling match, I tell ya. I don't know what to make of it.
Suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway.
Mr. Middleman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question, Jasmine's honor. Hold it. My lord. Goodness me, yes, Mr. Foreman. I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Are we to understand that you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision? To right we have. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Wait, no. The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room.
Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it.
But in the end, what difference do they make? None as far as I can see.
And yes, that's now apparent. There's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I didn't make the 5 bob home with me tonight, the missus will blow her top. What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Okay, I'm starting to remember their voices. Very well. Let the court be appraised of your decision. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
That's her voice?
Guilty! Guilty!
Oh man. I'm gonna stick with my voices. I can remember them. All of you? Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous. Summation examination time. So, this time at least, it would seem justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished.
Get up, Mr. Naruto, please. The trial isn't over yet.
What do you mean, Mrs. Sato?
About the information I found in this encyclopedia of British law I have. The obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations. Remember?
A summation examination. Yes, that's right. You don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in the British court of law, we can reserve the decisions of a majority of the jurors. We can force the trial to continue. The trial can end now. Whatever it takes, we just can't let that happen. Defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination, my lord. am I not surprised at my learned Japanese friend's inability to admit defeat? He chose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth. Certainly, no other defense counsel in recent times have exercised the right to a summation examination. Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered. Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. Defense counsel's request is granted. The court will now proceed with an summation examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law. Thank you, my lord. Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman? Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity, and we're ready for it. Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of jury, I hereby call upon each of you. State the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he stands accused. Judicial findings. Jurors' contentions. The victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man.
No, I do declare that the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. Really?
Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, stoops all the while, and has a moustache. Very fishy.
There's no evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman, for now at least.
I really don't care, Lord. Just need this trial to end quickly. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all. I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced.
Really? So it seemed that all the jurors come to the conclusion that Mr. Shamsphere is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen.
Yes, me, we've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements.
Sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume has said appears to have been registered at all.
Well, here goes. Let's not forget. I've pleaded with the jury on Saseki-san's behalf before at work, so you never know.
Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you exactly how summation examination works, Mr. Naruto.
Oh.
Well, you're still very new to British law after all.
That's true, I suppose. And Saseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands now. There's always a chance I might have forgotten some crucial detail. Perhaps I should hear Sasaki-san out. I wonder, should I let her talk me through it again? Or not bother? Sure, why not?
Alright, so if you remember, the key to changing the juror's mind is the things that they say themselves.
Yes, it's coming back to me. First, it's important to listen to very carefully to each juror's statement. Then, if it sounds as though one of those statements might contradict another, have to pit the corresponding 2 jurors against each other to prove one of them or the other is wrong.
Yes, that's right. In many ways, it's very similar to a normal cross-examination.
Alright then, all that remains now is to do it. Yeah, it wasn't that long. Without further ado, please counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Jury examination. Defense's rebuttal.
Hold it!
Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I've no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Absolutely not. Mr. Natsume is not a liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed the victim's lips that night was the Japanese man's tea. And you take the gas man's testimony into account as well. The truth couldn't be any clearer. Well, that's alarmingly logical. But let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman, with a gentleman's values. If it turns out that old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'd gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same, isn't that right? Well, yes, perhaps. Though I don't see it happening. What's that? Elderly rent on the end here. You know, you'll have to speak up. Look, I really don't care about all this nonsense. We just need this trial to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury, then? Alright, sir. I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said.
Hold it!
Are you saying you believe the man to be trustworthy because he's rather splendid?
No, that's not what I said. The point is, the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? And yes, he is rather splendid.
So you say it again.
Meanwhile, the man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously it's exhausting to look at him. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all.
Splendid logic there, madam. Thank you so much.
Hold it!
No. Not one of those things is a reason to find the man guilty. But he's fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's Japanese. He has a mustache and he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusion in just 3 steps. 3 steps, like a waltz, in fact. No, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance. You seem to be several steps ahead of yourself, though. You're on the wrong foot. No, there's nothing but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt. But the victim's version of the events is backed up by what the big chin man next to him says, isn't it? 1, he saw the Japanese man there. 2, he saw no one else there. 3, he saw the Japanese man there. Oh. There's another 3 steps. All this really does seem more and more like a waltz, doesn't it? Right, and the prosecution will waltz its way to victory if I let you speak more.
Hold it!
A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam?
It really is a most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence. We can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued.
Does she work for the meter place? Sorry, you've lost me there. Who are you?
I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of the Altamont Gas Company.
Good gracious. Ultimate Gauss, you say?
Gas is the future of energy in this country, around the globe, but proper handling is essential. As I'm sure our employee from the Eastern Branch office would be the first to agree.
Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gotta be used properly. Ultimate Gas is the best in the world, of course. I've forgotten his voice.
I think we may have solved the mystery of the bower from earlier, Mr. Naruto.
Right, he bowed in deference to his employer's wife, did he? Ah, so, would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Meterman was watching what Mr. Shakespeare was up to in his room?
I'm afraid there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go to in order to steal our gas. So I really have no choice when the company identifies somebody as a possible fraudsman. But to dispatch a worker to watch the suspect day and night, we're very thorough in our investigations.
The thing about me saying that'd be easy to steal the gas is probably true. So you mean Mr. Shamsphere is...
I wouldn't come out and say it in public, but you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief.
You have noticed the public gallery in here, have you? The eye of a man hath not heard, the ear of a man hath not seen. Faith, wouldst thou won me with thy words, were I to let them penetrate the skin? But seraphs hear not insults, only choirs of angels in song.
We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. When they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights in the ultimate gas explosion.
Is she threatening to blow up the house? So Mr. Shamsford has been stealing gas. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that information to your statement.
A pleasure. Was it the bit about ripping that thief apart you enjoyed?
Well, before that part about the abject violence, if it's not too much trouble.
Yes, of course.
This could be it. This could shift the balance.
The victim put on a fine performance, but in reality, he's a common thief of my company's gas.
Hold it!
I wonder, press these two also. Keep talking about needing to take some home money. What's all that all about, sir? Finish last, that's what it's all about. What's that? Talking about the derby at Hyde Park, aren't I? It was a Queen's Cup last week, wasn't it? Derby? It was a dead cert, that's the thing. I couldn't lose, so I took my wife's secret savings line. But then, hopeless old man went and did the unthinkable. Ah, that stupid finish last.
Hold here, I think it's clear what happened, isn't it?
This is the day that Mrs. uses her savings for a trip down the pub. So come on, let this business lie now, just give it up. No, that's not going to happen. 3 hours.
Hold it!
What do you really mean by that, sir? Oh, I'm not one to boast. Get up at 5 every morning, I do. 5? You're a really early riser then, aren't you? Oh, so I don't know. I said you're an early riser. Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I like to while away at the house in the evening reading books as well. But by around 2 in the morning, I'm usually too tired to go on.
Sleeps at 2 in the morning, gets up at 5.
Just like me.
Oh my, that means he only has 3 hours of sleep each night.
I'm sorry, dear.
Only 3 hours of sleep each night?
That's right, you see. 3 hours of missing time. Like I said, it's not much, is it? This really isn't helping.
The key to summation examinations is identifying contradictions between jurors' statements, Mr. Arnold.
Right, and once I found 2 jurors whose statements can't coexist, I need to pit those 2 jurors against each other. And hopefully when they see that they're just saying it doesn't make sense, they'll change their leaning.
Yes, if you're able to change the minds of the majority of the jurors, the trial will continue. But conversely, if you're unable to do that, the judge will declare the trial over and move to adjudication.
Can't let that happen. Somehow or another, I have to turn this trial around. Okay, pit.
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious. 2 whose statements, dear fair counsel? Juror number 1. What are you yelling about, lad? I presume you've heard the juror number 4 statement, made by the wife of the owner of the Altamount gas. Well, yes. Victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man. In fact, turns out to be a common thief. So the good lady says, but there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard them say as much.
It's true, we don't have evidence as such just yet. But the claims aren't baseless, you know.
What?
You heard me. Seeing as his operation has already been compromised, I would suggest that the court hears testimony from our Eastern Branch Office employee over there.
I'll do whatever you say, my lady. Gasman's on him. Juror number 1. You say you're a man of your word. I could show that Mr. Shamsford was a liar. You assured me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt. Yes, I did say that. As a man of honor, I'll hold to it, as I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will.
Me?
Oh, well, yes. Well, if we found one of the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to consider the matter further. Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what you've all been saying. So maybe I'll recap a few points, and that would suit me down to the ground. Oh no, I'm not having any part of this. I want this trial over and done with.
In that case, I shall change my leaning.
So, Mr. William Shamsfair, that is your real name. We of the jury demand to know exactly what kind of man you really are. Yay. That's 4 jurors, 4 for not guilty.
It's Mr. Naruto. Victory!
Easy. Order, order. Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defense's summation examination, the jury's leanings have changed. Now, only jurors say guilty, whilst 4 say not guilty, and therefore declare this court to be in a state of disaccord, and to order the trial to continue. Yay. You have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Shamsfair. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you, the victim. But the courts will give us some faults to make us men. So God mend me, I do swear. This gas man speaketh that which concerns him most, not but gas, not but thin air. Aye, it burneth bright a while, but it had no substance, and it doth reek foul. Oh, what you say? Do I take it, Mr. Shamsfair, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery?
Most heartily, my lord, hast thou forgot, I am a seraph, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily, honest of heart.
Ah, you flowery-mouthed pompous beanpole, just 'cause I haven't got the evidence yet. Mr. Shamsfair, if in fact you are not of noble mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony should have no sway in this courtroom. It is my considered opinion that at the present time no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard by this court thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule on this case.
Oh no.
However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concern about the fidelity of this witness, I believe it would be inappropriate for this court not to pursue the point further.
Objection!
Yeah, I assure you, my lord, that would be a waste of the court's time. The gas in this case are unrelated. Juror number 4.
Yes.
Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man has been stealing gas, you have strong grounds for suspecting him?
That's right. We do. Don't we? Orca?
Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gasman's honor. Well, very well then. We will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why I believe the victim, Mr. William Shamsfair, has been stealing gas. Yes, my lord, it will be my pleasure. On Altamont Gas' name, I swear.
For my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
This ruckus testimony may have significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside with him, in a supervisory role, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, yes, swears on it. Yeah. Very well. An exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
You wait till the boss gets your earful, or it's gonna sting, mark my words. So, you both will testify before the court on the subject of illegal consumption of the Altamont Gas Company's fuel.
Yes, is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Altamont Gas, my lady. Which is the clearest in the world. You think the gas has gone to his head, Mrs. Sato?
Yes. I think this man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruto.
Cool. The Ultimate Gas Company's investigation. You know what? I think I'm gonna end the episode here, and then next time, continue on with their testimony. Thanks for watching. See ya.